Hello and welcome to English Learning Hub. English Listening Test. Designed for B2 learners. This test consists of 30 questions which are divided into 6 parts. I will give you a short instruction at the beginning of each part. Before we get started, take a pen and paper so you can take notes while listening. Are you ready? Let's get started. Part 1. Listen to an interview and complete the sentences. You may need to change the form of some of the words you hear.
There's been a lot of publicity in the media about young people recently. Most of it is negative. We read that the 20-somethings of today are getting lazier and more selfish, and they depend on their parents for everything. But just how fair is that? Today, I'm interviewing Ashley Roberts, who is 21 and has just graduated from college. Ashley, do young people deserve this reputation?
Well, I think it depends on the individual. One of the biggest problems is that we're treated as if we're all the same. Of course, some young people may just sit around updating their Facebook page, but I think many people in their 20s are working or studying harder than ever before. It's just that we do things differently from our parents.
So you don't think that things are easier for young people?
Not really. I think this is a really difficult time to be young. Sure, we have more material stuff and more opportunities to travel, but there are also fewer jobs, and there's more competition for everything.
Well, you've certainly grown up in a difficult economic climate. But is it fair to say that the youth of today are more selfish?
No, I don't think it is. I think we care about things just as much as older people. Lots of my friends do volunteer work, for example. I read that twice as many people volunteer as when my parents were young. Young people are maybe more self-confident these days, and they want to do what they believe in. Is that being selfish?
But what about the argument that young people don't want to grow up?
Maybe old people are just jealous of us because we're having fun. So we spend our money on clothes and entertainment, but isn't that what young people have always done?
Thank you, Ashley. It's been very interesting talking to you. It's probably true that the older generation have always thought that they work harder and have better values than their children's generation. Well, Ashley will get her chance to complain about the younger generation in a few years.
Choose the correct option. Part 2. Listen to 5 conversations and take notes. What's the best way to get to Silicon Valley from the airport?
Well, you can get the train into San Jose, and then take another train, or you can get a bus from the airport.
Which is quicker?
The bus is direct, but it only runs every 2 hours. The train option is more complicated, but it will probably end up taking less time.
How do I get to your house from the station?
John, isn't there a bus?
Yes, but I can pick you up. It only takes about 15 minutes to get there by car.
Thanks, that's great. Should I call you when I'm on the train?
Yeah, sure. See you soon.
Karen, what's the worst trip you've ever taken?
I think the slowest was probably last summer when we got stuck in a traffic jam on our way to a music festival. It took 5 hours to go about 60 miles. But the most stressful thing was that I was also running out of gas. Fortunately, we just made it.
Daniel, you're an engineer, so you'll probably know the answer to this question. What's the safest form of transportation?
Well, statistically, flying's the safest, although it's also the form of transportation that people are most afraid of. A recent survey also showed that people think that cars and buses are safer than trains.
So, is it flying or traveling by train that's safer?
Oh, definitely flying.
What's your favorite city, Deborah?
Well, one of the most relaxed places I've been to is Copenhagen.
I haven't been there. Isn't it famous for good food?
It does have amazing restaurants. It's also one of the best cities for biking in the world. There are bike lanes everywhere. The most surprising thing is that at rush hour, it's more crowded in the bike lanes than on the roads.
Choose the correct option. Part 3. Listen to the conversation about playing a musical instrument. Who said the following? Fill in the gaps with James, Sarah, or neither.
Is that your trumpet? I didn't know you played. Isn't it hard?
Well, it was really frustrating at the beginning. I couldn't make any sounds at all. But my teacher says I'm getting better now. What about you? Can you play a musical instrument?
Well, I used to play the violin when I was younger, but I was never very good. I still remember my music teacher writing, James could make a more pleasing sound. She said I should practice 30 minutes a day, but I found it so boring.
So, what happened?
Oh, I played in the school orchestra for a while, but I was pretty embarrassed about it. It just wasn't cool to play in the school orchestra when I was 14.
So, did you give up?
Yes, I did. Mom was disappointed because she thinks everyone should learn a musical instrument. But I took up the drums when I was 16, and I played in a band for a while. That was exciting. We wrote our own songs, did quite a few concerts, but in the end we were just too busy with other things. How about you? Do you play in a band?
Actually, I've recently joined a jazz band. That's where I'm going now.
Really? That sounds much more exciting than the school orchestra.
It's great. Some of the older musicians are amazing. I don't know if I'll ever be able to play like they do. They make it sound so easy. We're doing a concert next month. You should come and hear us.
I'd love to.
Hey, I have an idea. Our drummer has just left. Do you still play?
I haven't practiced for a while, so I might not be able to play very well, but I guess I could try.
You don't have to be anything special. We just need someone to help us keep a basic rhythm. Why don't you come along next week?
Okay, cool. I'll give it a try. Text me on Monday to remind me.
Who said the following sentence? Part 4. Listen to 5 conversations and take notes.
Carol, should you say sorry in the US if you walk into someone?
Oh, definitely. Actually, we often say sorry even when someone walks into us. But if you just want to get past, you need to say, "Excuse me."
Okay. And what should I say when someone says sorry?
Well, it depends on the situation, really. We usually just say, "Sorry," back, especially for a small thing. When someone is really apologizing for something, say they stand on your toe and hurt you, then you can say, "That's all right," or, "Don't worry."
If I'm invited for dinner, do I have to arrive exactly on time?
Well, if you're eating at someone's house, I think it's okay to arrive about 10 or 15 minutes late. In fact, some people would say that's polite. But if you're meeting in a restaurant, you really should be punctual, especially if the other person is on their own.
Thanks. And should I take a present if I'm invited to dinner at someone's house?
Well, you should probably take something, maybe a box of chocolates or a bunch of flowers.
What about tipping in restaurants in the US, Carol? Do people always leave something?
Well, it's common to leave at least 15% in a restaurant, but you should always check to see whether it's included in the bill, or you can ask the waiter. If it's in the bill, you don't need to leave any extra, but you can leave a little bit more if you want to.
Do people tip in any other situations?
You should probably tip a taxi driver 15% too, and it's also normal to tip a hairdresser.
Hello, can I speak to Margaret Johnson, please?
Just a moment, I'm afraid her line is busy. Do you want to hold, or can I take a message?
Can I leave a message? Could you tell her Nova Miller called, and that I'm calling about Friday's meeting? We need to discuss the agenda before Thursday, but she doesn't have to call back. In fact, I'm in meetings most of today, so I'll call her first thing tomorrow morning.
Who are you texting, Lisa?
Donald. I just called him and he hung up on me.
That's rude. Why did he do that?
I don't know. I left him a voicemail yesterday and he didn't call back then either. I've already sent him a Facebook message this morning, but he isn't replying. Oh, I'm so depressed.
I'm not surprised. I wonder what the problem is.
I have no idea.
Choose the correct option. Part 5. Listen to Amy talking about a difficult race she did. Complete the sentences with words from the conversation.
Amy, I understand you took part in the Ironman triathlon last year. Can you tell us about this extremely difficult race?
Yes. It involves swimming almost 2.5 miles, biking 112 miles, and finally running a marathon, 26.2 miles. You have to finish it in 17 hours.
And had you done a lot of sports before the race?
Well, I used to do a lot of sports in school, but I hadn't taken part in anything for a long time when I decided to do the race. Before I started training, I hadn't even been swimming for years, apart from on vacation. Anyway, with the help of a coach, I began a strict training program to get fit over several months.
Didn't you have a break in that time?
Oh, yes. After every 4th week, I took things easier, and when I had rest days, I made sure I didn't do anything physically demanding.
Very sensible. And so what about the race itself? Did you manage to complete it?
Well, the night before the race, I dreamt I would finish in 12 hours 16 minutes, which I knew wasn't very likely, but I was ready. The start of the swim was quite disorganized as there were so many people trying to get into the water and swimmers were knocking into each other. I just tried to concentrate and stay calm. Gradually, the lake became less crowded and I made good time. Then, I was on to the cycling stage. Spectators were cheering and waving as I passed on my bike, and it stopped me thinking about how exhausted I felt. I remembered what my coach had said about drinking liquids, and the food I was carrying helped too. I even gave some of my chocolate to another competitor who had dropped his and was running out of energy.
That was kind of you. And what about the final part of the race?
Running the marathon was where things became really tough for me. Towards the end, my legs felt as if they were made of stone. Several people had given up because they were injured, but I was determined to keep going. Seeing my husband and son shouting my name allowed me to do those last few miles and cross the finish line at, guess what? 12 hours, 16 minutes.
A fantastic achievement. Well done.
Complete these sentences. Part 6. Listen to 5 conversations and take notes.
Ryan, did you know that Kathleen and Gary are going out now?
Kathleen and Gary from your department? Really? But I didn't think they used to get along.
Well, they both started going to the gym at lunchtime, and they obviously became friends.
I can't imagine Gary doing any kind of exercise. How long have they been together?
About a month, I think.
Hi, Jason. How was the game?
Hi, Donna. It was great, thanks. We won. The students beat the teachers.
That's great. What was the score?
1-0, and I scored the only goal. Unfortunately, Ryan was sent off in the second half for committing a foul against his old gym teacher.
Hi, Melissa. I think I saw your ex yesterday. Didn't you and Brian used to be a couple a long time ago?
Brian. Yes, I've completely lost touch with him. How was he?
He was fine, and he looked pretty good, too. Looks like he works out a lot.
Oh.
Hi, Mom. I have some news. Eric and I have just gotten engaged.
Oh, Martha, that's wonderful. Congratulations. How did he, propose?
Well, he invited me to go for a walk this evening. We were in the park and suddenly he got down on one knee.
Ah, I didn't think modern men were usually so romantic. Eric's obviously different.
Hi, could I book a basketball court for Friday morning?
Certainly. What time would you like?
Is it free at 10:30?
Yes, it is.
Is the pool open then, too?
It's usually open on Fridays, but I'm afraid a school is using it for a competition this week.
Okay, I'll just book the court then.
And can I take your name, please?
Yes, it's Joshua Brown.
Choose the correct option. Don't forget to share your score in the comments section. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe because more useful content is on the way. Leave a like and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of our new videos. See you in the next videos.